Hi, Asia327. I'm Clarence, and today we'll be comparing the global success of Korean hip-hop to Japanese hip-hop. Our research question is, how has Korean hip-hop reached recent global success, whereas Japanese hip-hop has only attracted attention from its local market? We believe that Korean hip-hop's international success can be attributed to three major areas: contextual differences between Korean and Japanese hip-hop, the timing of second-generation hip-hop artists' rise to popularity, and multinational enterprise support in the form of hip-hop TV shows. Iwabuchi, in his book Recentering Globalization, argues that popular culture goods, such as music and in this case hip-hop, carry with them an odor, or national imprint related to the culture of which they were produced. This odor can be attributed to foreign perceptions about the country's history and identity. He finds that products that are odorless or less nationalistic, such as comics, computer games, and cartoons, sell better internationally as they are devoid of national identity. However, Japanese hip-hop has a clear nationalistic feel to it, which Iwabuchi defines as Japaneseness. As many popular hip-hop songs are concerned with real Japanese issues, performed by Japanese artists, which makes this music more centered towards a local audience. To perform well internationally, Japanese hip-hop has to overcome an odor of foreign distaste of Japanese culture, which can be traced as far back to its imperial history, where many neighboring Asian countries were negatively impacted by Japan's expansion. Another author, Cary Broder, in her article argues that the highly nationalistic, abrasive, and underground style of Japanese hip-hop, which has remained unchanged, has limited its international appeal. Korean hip-hop, on the other hand, does not face the same level of cultural odor, which can be attributed to its history as a colony, not a colonizer, and thus has a fairly neutral relationship with foreign countries. As foreign audiences are less critical of music deriving from Korean culture, Korean hip-hop faces one less barrier in garnering international attention. In addition, while Japanese hip-hop appeals mostly to its local audience, hip-hop in Korea has also continued to standardize and adapt to changing tastes to create music that suits a larger international audience. G-Dragon, for example, started off producing music that borrowed many elements of conventional Western hip-hop, similar to how Japanese hip-hop produced their own songs. However, Chu Yun-oh from his article notes that G-Dragon managed to transform his music to make it so that it does not signify any particular cultural root. From cross-dressing and creating layers of racial and cultural hybridity, to incorporating different musical genres in his songs, he has been able to create a genre of popular hip-hop that is identity-switching and gender-fluid, which appeals to a global audience. This is heavily contrasted with popular Japanese hip-hop, which hasn't changed much and still has a heavy Japanese identity to it. Japanese hip-hop was first discovered in 1983 through breakdancing, with its first underground hip-hop band Wild Style. Condry, in his book, splits Japanese hip-hop into three time periods. From the time 1984 to 1994, Japan was redefining what J-hip-hop meant. From 1994 to 1999, there was a debate on whether underground hip-hop was better than mainstream hip-hop. Finally, from the years onward, Japanese hip-hop expanded with artists discovering new music styles in this genre. While social media popularity started to increase in the early 2000s, he argues that the over-diversification of the genre caused Japanese hip-hop to lose its popularity. On the other hand, Korean hip-hop started as underground music in the 1990s and slowly became more popular. There were two types of hip-hop: underground hip-hop, which was less popular among Korean audiences, and mainstream hip-hop. Pertaining to mainstream hip-hop, there are essentially two generations of artists from this category. The first generation artists emerged in the music scene in the late 1990s, such as Drunken Tiger and G-Dragon. Widely considered as pioneers of mainstream Korean hip-hop, they were able to sustain popularity internationally. As such artists had set the foundations for success, a second generation of hip-hop artists entered the scene in the beginning of the 2000s. These include dynamic duo Epic High, Lee Sang, and BTS, to name a few. Unlike Japanese hip-hop, Korean hip-hop, with its rising popularity, was able to achieve international attention in the late 2000s during the rise of social media. Owen Park in their article notes the influence of social media on the resurgence of Korean music. Social media platforms such as YouTube would act as a catalyst for boosting viewership and spreading music across regions. Thus, the timing of single hit releases of second-generation artists in Korea worked in tandem with the proliferation of social media platforms. In contrast, due to the rapid expansions of different styles in Japanese hip-hop that happened too early and too quickly, hip-hop was unable to firmly establish itself by the 2000s. As a result, the waning popularity of first-generation Japanese hip-hop artists would mean that not as many second-generation artists were born. Thus, we have two limiting factors to Japanese hip-hop's success internationally. First, many popular Japanese hip-hop artists today are mainly older first-generation artists, which may not suit a younger audience in foreign countries. Second, and most importantly, Japanese hip-hop lost popularity before being able to utilize social media platforms to expand its audience and reach international success. Multinational enterprises in the form of Korean hip-hop shows is another catalyst in kickstarting hip-hop artists' careers by increasing coverage of their music and helping them sign with major label companies. Show Me the Money is currently one of the more popular hip-hop shows and features contestants going toe-to-toe in a series of musical challenges. As mentioned earlier, YouTube played a significant role in boosting popularity of these rookie artists through releasing recorded singles and clips of the show. The first season was aired in 2012 and was won by rookie artist Loco, who was then signed on to AOMG label. Since then, Loco, who entered the show with no previous record label or professional background, has gone on to release several singles before coming out with his first studio album in 2017. He has also been featured in collaborations with hip-hop artists from the West, such as Far East Movement and Soulja Boy. Over the years, the show has garnered a huge following domestically and internationally. With each season, more and more aspiring rappers are auditioning. In 2016, Season 5 of Show Me the Money underwent a huge change in production value and saw over 9,000 rookie auditions. The winner of this season was BY, who went on to produce the hit single Forever, which spiked over 900,000 won in sales, and earned him an award for Hip Hop Song of the Year, as well as nominations for Artist of the Year. For the sixth season, which is scheduled to air by the end of June of 2017, over 12,000 people have expressed interest in auditioning for the show. Unlike in Korea, hip-hop in Japan did not receive much corporate interest in the beginning and was largely ignored by record companies. Hip-hop was seen as a trend that would quickly die out. In the underground club scene in Tokyo, hip-hop was only spread through rappers and DJs who would perform at genbas, or venues for hip-hop performances. Japanese hip-hop would not gain this same level of television coverage as Korean hip-hop, thus limiting their coverage to foreign audiences and opportunities to sign with major label companies. Instead, mainstream Japanese pop music labels began to produce their own hip-hop music in the form of J-rap, which were songs that were famous for being purely party music. Japanese hip-hop would remain localized within Japan to the extent that songs with messages of anti-commercialization and national identity would define the genre. One example of this is King Ghidra's song, Bullet of Truth, which included social commentary on the media and big corporations, as well as mainstream Japanese society's obsession with commercialism. Ultimately, Japanese hip-hop would not have the same opportunities for international exposure due to a lack of TV show coverage. The success of Korean hip-hop in international markets can be seen from collaborations between Korean and Western hip-hop artists. The likes of CL and Keith Ape are imprinting their names within the Western hip-hop scene. We expect more Korean performers will successfully venture into the Western market and collaborate with local artists. Thus, Korean hip-hop will continue to expand its global presence.
인내 청사진 결과만다면 너 내가 키지 말아 깝치면 너 내가 조금 검은색 정장인 너 장난치는 게 아니야 Cold hard, we go hard Rebel like, we go hard